Hello, hello. Maayong adlaw sa kanatong tanan. Welcome to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. Right beside me is Raf Chavez. Maayong buntag ni mo diya, Raf.
Maayong buntag kanimo Jig.
Kamusta man imuhang kabuntagon, Raf? Okay ra ka, Raf? Mura man kag kaning celebrate sa ato ang okasyon karong adlaw, which is gitawag nato og Eid al-Fitr. Right?
Oh, yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it actually.
Eid al-Fitr, a big Islamic celebration marking the end of Ramadan. How do you celebrate something like that, Rob? Are you celebrating it?
No, I don't. Dili ko Muslim, so I don't celebrate it.
But
I do appreciate the holiday.
But it is a holiday, right?
Mhm.
And it was declared a holiday by our president, March 20, a regular nationwide holiday for Eid al-Fitr. So sa ato mga kaigsunan nga mga Muslim nga naminaw na to og nananaw na to karong buntaga, I don't know if they can though. If you are in the privacy of your cell phones, daghang salamat sir and or ma'am. Should I say happy Eid al-Fitr? Is that correct?
I'm not sure, said.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe if we have our Muslim friends who are watching us, please give us some guidelines on how to celebrate such a festival, a festival of breaking the fast. The Muslims worldwide wrap up the month of dawn to dusk fasting, give thanks, pray together, share feasts, give each other gifts. It is a kind of Christmas. Wear new clothes and visit family and friends. Super joyful vibes all around. So I guess it's happy Eid al-Fitr, right? Kay joyful vibes man ka, di ba?
Well, yeah, definitely sounds like it. Yeah.
So yeah, daghang salamat sa inyong pagsalmot sa atohang programa nga gitawag natog Top of the Morning. Yeah, ikaw Raf, kaning you mentioned earlier nga murag you were rudely awakened by your fur babies. Explain to us what happened, Raf. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I actually woke up earlier than I usually would today. Tungod sa iring namo.
Kissing yawa.
Naunsa man.
Yeah, basically, I think my brother fell asleep. He forgot to close the door to our room, and the cat ended up coming into the room and sleeping nearby my face.
Oy! Mo ni kaning iring ah?
Dili mas dakot ang iring namo, so dili na nako cute yung
Kana ang iring? Anang iring?
O dili po din na naka-aggressive.
Unsa man nga iring ah?
Mukha naman siya mo.
Meow.
Di na siya nakagamay katingog.
Unsa man siya ni sud sa imong kwarto, sa imong hidanan.
Yeah, ni sud siya dito siya naghigda tapad nako and you know his hairs were rubbing against my face, so it ended up waking me up.
What does that mean, by the way? What does that mean?
What do you mean?
Like, what does that mean when a cat does that to you? Do you have any idea?
Ooh. I think it's a sign of trust first and foremost.
By the way, does the pussy have a name? Does the pussy have a name? Does the cat have a name?
Yes, the cat's name is Whiskers.
Whiskers.
Very very generic.
Whiskers. So the cat's whiskers, a whisker's whisker rubbed itself to your face.
Yeah, basically.
Basically. So maybe it was his way of it's a she or a he.
He.
Maybe it's his way of saying mata na diha Ralph, huh?
Yeah, maybe because he was literally asking for food, I think. I think he was there looking for food. Kay my brother bought kanang cat food yun and then he kept it in the room.
Oh.
And I think maybe he might have smelled it.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's why he was inside the room. And yeah, as soon as he noticed it, I kind of woke up. Yeah, because he was on my face. No.
Oh.
And I was like, I kind of pushed him away because I wanted to go back to sleep.
Okay.
And when I pushed him, murag nabantayan niya asa adapit ang cat food nga napa sa container niya, ang plastic na container niya ba. So he bit into it and I could hear him biting into it and ripping it open.
Oh my God.
So nakabangon ko, I was like, uy, no. Hawa.
Okay. So, but is this usual? I mean, does Whiskers usually wake you up in the middle of your sleep?
He has done this a few times now.
Okay.
He has done this a few. The last time he did it, I was like deep in sleep, and I was like having a really nice dream, and then nakaibong like I think I was like talking to somebody in the dream, and
Okay,
then
okay.
I can't really remember the face of the person I was talking to, but then I remember all of a sudden in the dream the person I was talking to started nibbling on my fingers, and I was like, why does this feel so realistic? And then I woke up and the cat was like literally munching on my fingers.
It's a muka.
Yeah. It's pretty funny because you know that feeling of, oh, why does it feel like I'm falling in the dream and then you actually fell in real life? It's kind of like that feeling.
Yeah, I know, right? That's very interesting. And it's
Mhm.
nice to have a cat like that who's very paraigun, right? I mean, like
Mhm.
but that does Whisker usually sleep beside you, or at least on your bed?
He usually sleeps beside my dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but your dad sleeps in another room, right? So,
Yeah.
the food is not in his room. So
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
he. So, nakakuan gid siya ba? Nakasabot gid siya nga you're the one who has access to the food, right? And
Maybe.
because he.
No, I think it's more like he's used to me being one of the people that feeds him.
Okay,
Because like
okay.
every time he will if he tries to go at my sister or my brother, they usually tend to like, yeah, no, you already ate. But then if he goes nearby me, I'm gonna be like, okay fine here.
What so that our viewers and listeners can visualize what kind of cat is Whiskers?
Kuan I think ang term kay pusakal.
Pusakal.
Yeah, kanang pusang kalye.
Okay.
Murag askal ron.
Okay.
Kind of similar to ask.
How
Excuse me.
how
Kind of
did,
similar to askal.
how did Pusakal or how did Whiskers come into your life?
I-
What is the story of Whiskers?
Well, it literally is. It is kind of a bit of a sad story actually. Kay, it was my brother who found Whiskers, and he found Whiskers unfortunately being bullied by a bunch of kids
Oh wow.
sa dool sa among kan boarding house sa unad sa May Jones.
Okay. How long ago was this?
S- 7 years. I
Oh
believe.
wow.
It might. It
So
might, it might be 6 years.
Whiskers is
He's
relatively old, right?
Yeah, he is. He's an older cat now.
So when you found Whiskers, was he like very young?
Yeah,
like
he was still
like a kitten.
Yeah, he was still very much a kitten when we found him, and yeah, he was being bullied by a bunch of kids,
Okay.
and I think he actually had a sibling with him
Wow.
who unfortunately did not make it through the torment.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was a bit of a sad story. So
Mhm.
my brother was actually like my mom recalls like how, because I wasn't there with them. I was in Butuan.
Okay.
And it was my mom and my brother who was there in the boarding house. So my mother recalls the story like all of a sudden my brother came up and when he was crying a bit. He was like, Ma, look, I had to rescue this kitten down there. They were beating the cats, and his sibling didn't survive.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, it was a bit. He is a rescue kitten cat.
Hey, without being too graphic with your words, Raf, what happened to the sibling of Whiskers? How did he not survive? I mean, like, was there any violence happening in front of you of your sister, your mom and your brother, or what happened?
It was just in front of my brother because my mom was in the boarding house. My brother was the one who found him, and I'm not entirely sure what happened. They didn't really go into detail, but all I know is that he had a sibling with him who did not make it, but we were able to rescue him. And he was so small when we first had him, and then the fact that he was much more clingy when he was younger too. Now he's less clingy. In fact, if you cling to him, he'll be kind of rude about it. Like if you try to hug him, he'll be like he'll be fine for the first few moments, and then he'll suddenly like push you away.
This was when he was young.
Yeah, this is him now. But
Oh, okay.
when he was younger, he would cling to you as much as he could.
Oh wow.
And now he's just so moody. Like he's not cute anymore.
Oh, and what's the color of the pusakal?
Have you seen
whiskers?
those typical nga kanang cats that you could see nga they have kind of like stripes. They're
Okay.
brownish.
Oh yeah, brownish
with, like,
gray.
brownish gray with some black in there.
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
mix.
yeah, yeah.
Inana, those
Okay,
type
okay.
of cats.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's Whisker's social life? Does he have like Does he have like a girlfriend now or a boyfriend for that matter? We don't know these cats, right?
Well, we already did, nip him in the
Ah,
buds.
and
So
nip
he,
it in the buds. Okay.
he's not as aggressive. He's not as laagan pareha sa una.
Gikapon.
Yeah,
Oh,
gikapon na siya, and
okay.
back actually before we did that, we did it because he would go, sometimes he would go days,
Okay.
and then it would be a while till we see him again, and the next time we saw him he was so thin,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom was like, this isn't healthy anymore. We really need to do something about this. Because
okay.
he'd come back with wounds all over him.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, he'd get into fights with all the cats in the neighborhood there in
wow.
Butuan.
Oh.
So
Wait a minute. So you found him in Butuan?
no, we found him in Cebu. Then
you
we
brought-
brought him to Butuan.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
Okay. So how was that? How was that Butuan experience? Was it a long time in Butuan or just
Yeah, it
like a
was
vacation?
Yeah, he was there. He was there with me throughout most of my high school years.
Oh, which brings me to my ever important question about transporting pets. How
Mm.
did you transport Whisker from Cebu to Butuan? Was there like a whole process?
Yeah, we had to get his vaccination shots. I think there's like a bunch of requirements you need in order to get him all the way there, and yeah, we did all of that.
How about the accommodations? I mean, like, do you have him in a cage, or do they have to stay like in a certain area of the boat or the plane?
Well, yeah, we had to we had to make sure we had a container for him. He was a very small cat, remember?
Ah, okay.
At this point in time, he was just a kitten, so we didn't really need a very big container for
Okay,
him.
okay. But could you bring him with you in wherever you were staying? I mean, like wherever you were staying in the boat. Was it a plane or a boat?
Boat.
So you can just bring him with him, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to put him like in some
No.
place.
You don't necessarily need to do that.
Okay.
You could just like literally keep him beside your bed.
Oh, okay. And the papers.
Yeah. Just I think first and foremost is the vaccination, and I think you needed like a vet papers, like to like kind of like a birth certificate type of type of deal, where basically like his official name is like written down, that kind of thing.
Wow, interesting. So you were able to transport a Whisker from Cebu to Butuan with all of these requirements, including a kind of certificate from the vet and a vaccination and all of that stuff. You put him in a cage, and voila, it wasn't that complicated.
Yeah, it
So
wasn't. It wasn't.
Pagsugat ninyo, pagsud ninyo sa barko, like they were looking for the papers. Was it like extra time? Like was it a lot of time for you to enter the boat?
Not really. It's really just as long as you have the papers at the ready.
Okay,
na.
but how about going back from Butuan to Cebu? Was it the same process?
Yeah. It was more or less the same process for Gapon.
So did you just use your old documents, or you had to like secure a bunch of new documents?
Well, I think we had to get them shots again.
Ah.
We had to renew their.
But that was a long
vaccination
time,
shots.
right?
Yeah,
He
because
stayed
it
in
was a
Butuan.
long time ago.
Interesting. Wow. I wonder what that does though to a pet, right? Especially cats and dogs, right? If you move like to another place, I wonder how they feel. Like was Whiskers all right after being moved from one island to another, after being pusakal, after being bullied by a bunch of kids, human kids, right?
Yeah,
Human
yeah.
kids. Now he's in another place. Was it like a long adjustment period for Whiskers?
No, not really. He was kind of like a recluse to start off, just for the first few moments, really. But then as soon as he started getting comfortable in the house, it was like smooth sailing from there. Shout out po dahil kay May Geronimo sa atong comment sections.
This is not. This is just by coincidence that we're talking about cats, and our topic for today is Filipino food heritage, right? This has nothing to do with the cat, right? Right?
Hopefully not. I hope that's just a joke.
That's not part of our food heritage.
Yeah. No,
Because we hear stories, right?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yung kada kanong sana siupaw ko no sahing butangan ko no og kaning miming ko no tinuod ba na mong nakadung ka ng storya ha, right? Kaning Bajaya naman kaning I wish he was here kaning Raf nga usahay na siupaw nga
Yeah.
so nakadung na kanang have you ever heard that story?
I've not only heard that story, I've also made that joke.
and where did you hear that from? I mean, like nakinumdum pa ka asa ka nakanungungan ng rumor or myth or story, or is that even a really a myth or something?
I genuinely don't remember like where I first heard that. I think I might have first heard it on the internet.
Okay.
Somebody pointed out nga asa ka nigikan ng unod sa siomai?
Mm.
Like, and then a lot of people were like, coming up with like weird conspiracies, and some people were like saying it's rat meat, it's cat meat, it's dog meat, and then the thought just kind of stuck in your head. Yeah, every time, people would make kanang mga memes pud gani nga kanang missing cat, ang tapat pa jud sa poster kay Shomai, 8 pesos per piece. so very conscious kasi. Lagi. Shout out kay May Carganilla nga naa sa atong comment sections ug si Neil John Isitan.
So atong hisgutan karong adlaw is the food heritage controversy. It is controversial because can you set the stage for us, Ralph? This person who's a food heritage advocate, John Sherwin Felix, was sued for cyber label by an author because he was criticizing. Was it like a book?
Yeah, it was like a cookbook.
A cookbook. Was this like a cookbook written or published by the DTI?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the Department of Trade and Industry?
Yeah. That's correct. It was published by the DTI.
This particular book was meant to document regional Filipino dishes, right? And can I see John Sherwin Felix criticized the book because he was a food heritage advocate and he probably saw something wrong with this particular book. And so why is this so controversial, Ralph? I mean, like, a book is written and somebody is criticizing it. Isn't that normal? Isn't that good? Isn't that healthy? Ngano na controversial man ni siya, Ralph? Ngano mo ko kasabot?
Well, I think first and foremost it became controversial tungod sa fact nga the author of the book decided to sue the guy with cyber libel nga case. And it's a very weird nga response gani because we have the freedom of speech here in the country, and part of our freedom of speech is the freedom to criticize, and especially sa kaning publicly funded nga what do you call this, publications that have supposedly factual information in it. And I think it wasn't just one factually incorrect statement that was made in the book. There were multiple, according sa claim ni Sherwin. And the fact nga he actually initially he reached out to DTI, and I think maybe to the author as well, privately, to point out the mistakes, but he got no response, and he felt the need to go public with his criticism because it's this is something that's published by our government, and the information needs to be factual. There's a need for this thing to be fact checked, basically. And it was after that, after he went public with this criticism, that the author in particular decided to sue him for cyber libel instead of, correcting the record, saying, "Oh, we made a mistake in our research. We would like to correct the information that's in this book." Maybe they felt, it's really hard to tell, but I do know that when this is something that was already published. So if you have a mistake in it, what do you call this? Recalling all of these the book's copies is gonna be costly, no?
I'm curious. What specific story or so-called fact or facts that John Sherwin, the person who criticized the book, what particular topic was this? Would you know? Would you know what particular? Was he attacking the book in general, or was he attacking or criticizing a specific story?
Okay, it's kind of hard to answer that question because publicly available knowledge is very limited on the matter.
Okay.
I think you'd have to go specifically to his online publication, which is called Localpedia.
Okay.
and you'd have to see what claims are being made there. But
I'm reading something here
mm,
from Reddit, and he says that uh, John Sharon Felix, founder of Localpedia, was sued for cyber libel by chef Jam Melcher for exposing errors in a government-funded cookbook authored by Melcher, criticizing publicly produced cookbook over inaccuracies. Got food heritage documentarist and advocate John Sherwin Felix sued for cyber libel. So I still don't have the exact specific
claims.
claims
Mm.
unsa gyud exactly ba, because I think that's important, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Before we continue, Jigs, yeah, we actually have a comment here sa atong YouTube
Oh.
comment section na
Mm.
si AGMI team
Mm.
niya na sila nga Kuya Jigs pa shout out po Clint Caballero. Taro nga imong trabaho dira. Salamat.
Uy.
Hehe.
Also, shout out to Dizered Kabasagan, Collins Fang Mendoza, live streaming. Daghang salamat for joining us. Please join the conversation, okay? Happy Eid Fitr to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. Daghang salamat sa inyo ang salmo sa ato ang programa if you are indeed watching or listening to us. Okay. As a heritage documentarist, Kanisi Sherwin, he saw a need to talk about it publicly, especially for a book which claims to be a compilation of regional dishes meant to preserve Filipino culinary culture.
Yeah.
This is an official publication under government agency, and people will treat them as a Bible truth, as they're expected to give accurate information. Um, Very interesting, right? I think the more interesting part actually is the reaction of DTI. Nganong isuman, di ba?
Well, it wasn't. I think it.
Or
According from the summary I found, it's not necessarily DTI that's
Oh, kinsa man gyud
suing him.
The
It's
person?
the author. It's the author of the book
Okay.
specifically. You also mentioned it earlier. It's the author specifically who's suing him. According to public information, at the very least, it doesn't seem like DTI necessarily has any what do you call this? Any say in the cyber libel case?
Well, whatever happens and whatever's going on out there with DTI, the author, and John Felix, I think this is a good thing. In the sense, aside from him being threatened by 12 years of prison time, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what I read somewhere. Nga murag he's being sued and he could go to jail for a long time for cyber libel. I didn't know that cyber libel had a huge penalty, like 12 years in prison.
Yeah,
Aside from that, in hanging on the head of the critic, the guy who founded Local Foodpedia or something like that. It is a good thing nga naghisgutaring aning butanga karong adlaw, di ba? Raf, sakto ni siya nga atong gibuhat nga atong gihisgutan because I think this is precisely the objective of Felix, right? And perhaps of DTI for food heritage to be in the forefront of the conversation. And I would like our listeners and our viewers to please join us in our conversation about food heritage. Okay, Raf, kana bang food heritage? I mean, we kind of know exactly what, more or less, what heritage means, right? But kana bang food heritage? What does that mean exactly? Can we at least define unsa man ang food heritage, right? Murag interesting kayo siya nga topic because I've never actually heard of those two words combined, food heritage.
Yeah, that's. I think it's a very good question.
You know,
because-
according to UNESCO, food heritage as a cultural practice is defined not just by the dish in the plate, but by transmission of know-how, a social ritual of passing down techniques. Okay. For example, back in 2025, last year, UNESCO recognized the Italian cuisine focus on nonas. Marag mga mama ni sila teaching children not just the recipes themselves, but teaching them how cuisine goes, or also the biodiversity as heritage. the preservation of heirloom seeds and native livestock is now seen as genetic heritage, essential for climate resilience and communal identity.
Mm-hmm.
Food that serves as a local glue, defining a community's history and boundaries. So more or less, munang ang describe nila as food heritage.
Okay, okay. That's a very it's kind of a broad-ish nga
Yeah.
concept. No?
There's
Definition.
there's an actual mura og gitawag na to og there's something at stake here because UNESCO is the sort of like the governing body. Remember, the Cebu was given the distinction of being a city of design by UNESCO. In fact, we were holding on to that distinction for quite a while, and then we didn't anymore. But so kanang that's actually also part of I think tourism ba nga kung Pananglitan you're acclaimed as a city of design Pananglitan, then maybe there's like a trip maybe for artists who would like to study the city of design. So kana sigurong food heritage sad kung eventually maybe UNESCO, maybe I can imagine basig napod sila awards, right? Ng awards sila nga, you know nga ang Philippines na ay distinction of, I don't know, like for example in the same way nga they recognized Italian cuisine. Ano bitaw? On how it is supposedly done. Kay tuduan gyud kuno sa mga nonas I think are the mothers. They teach their kids how to make Italian food and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Wait, did you have a question there?
No, there's no question. Because I was asking you earlier, unsa
Yeah,
ng
yeah.
food heritage definition.
Yeah, lagi.
So, mo na more or less definition. Do you have other definitions there, Raf, by any chance?
I based off of Google, it just says heritage. Food heritage refers to traditional local dishes and ingredients passed down through generations, embodying cultural identity, history, and community roots. It includes daily, unchanged recipes rooted in specific cultures,
But
religions, and beliefs.
again, I'm just surprised. Ganong there was like a serious pushback, like the threat of a lawsuit ba to the critic in
Yeah.
John Sherwin, because it's possible man good, like a lot of truths ba, or a lot of things that are handed down from generation to generation ba. Usahay, number one, the story gets
Changed.
muddled, right? It
Mhm,
gets
yeah.
changed, like you said, because we're not very accurate recipients of information, right? Once we hand it down and tell the story, atong i-embellish, na makalimtan, na mapunan, di ba?
Yeah,
That's
lagi.
number one. Number two, it's also possible nga, because we're trying to kaning write about heritage and culture, but it's also possible nga both truths. There are two truths, right? Nga, maybe this family did it like this, or maybe the other family did it like this, right? And
Yeah.
both of them can actually coexist because making food can be different
Varied,
from
yeah.
household to household, right?
Yeah, for sure. And aside from that, it just seems like such a stretch to immediately take legal action against all of this. Shout out tayo sa atong comment section na si Yoshio Montefalcon and si Luige Labayen nga niingon, shout out ko ni Corazon Cuevas Caputli. Shout out kanimo Corazon.
Daghang salamat.
And yeah, going back to what I was saying, like immediately going for moving for to sue the person instead of maybe trying to correct the record, maybe just making a public statement. This is or at the very least, trying to show receipts. This is actually where we gathered our information from, and all that. But it is a very interesting situation,
Yeah.
because from what I read, a lot of people, what do you call this? They peer reviewed the criticisms ni Sherwin, and they kind of back up his claim. This is actually factually incorrect. So, although it is true, the art of cooking and all that can vary from household to household. It seems like at the very least, what the claims that or the things that Sherwin has pointed out are factually incorrect. This is something that, according to other researchers, it has merit ba. There is actually something factually incorrect about the statements being made. So I don't know if they have the author who's suing Sherwin has any ground to stand on, so to speak, just because of the peer reviewed.
Well, the fact of the matter is nga, I think this book was published by the government means nga they have all the resources and access to information, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So pasabot niya ni nga this is actually, I hope one would hope and assume, di ba, nga this is well vetted, di ba?
Yeah.
And for it to finally arrive in a book, right? Means nga there must have been a process, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then again, the Philippines is notorious for writing not so good books to its students, di ba? I mean, kay mga sayop, di ba?
Yeah.
So maybe that's where the suspicion is coming from. Suspicions are coming from, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wish we knew exactly what they were arguing about, or what the thing that he was moraog what was the contentious
The
story, but
yeah.
actually I need to know that exactly unsa kay gihisgutan ni Melchor og ni Jam kahanga murag wa sila nagsinabot, in other words, right?
Yeah, basically.
And but just that fact alone, Raf ba, kanang nga pagkaon wala nagasinabot and all of that stuff, that's actually a good thing, right? That means nga this is a good time to have a conversation about it. Ay lang mihadlok ka og lawsuit in town.
Lagi,
Oy, pagkaon naman tong gistoryaan good.
Like,
right?
gidiritsuan jud og lawsuit ba, and then
Mo literal gitawag na to nga food fight, di ba? Food fight.
murag,
Di ba?
legal food fight.
Legal food fight na. And it would be an amazing kaning courtroom scene siguro sa nagisgot sila og inani pagluto gyud niya paguman si John mingon dili uy you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
what are they arguing about, man?
If I were just to speculate, like,
Yeah, please let's do that because that's our job to speculate.
like just based off of like how I understand it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily what do you call this? Cooking techniques or recipes that are in contention here. I think most likely what is probably in contention, and that's actually like carries significant weight gani in terms of the claims, is probably the historical background of certain dishes and probably like certain recipes, like where did we get recipe X, where did we get this herb Y, where did this practice start from.
Yeah.
I think that's probably if there is something that's factually incorrect, and I would feel like people would researchers would feel needs to be corrected. It would be something along the lines of that, not necessarily like the ang differences sa recipe and all that.
Yeah, that's right. And sometimes magud what does that even mean to be factually correct, di ba? Kay usahay man gud, di ba? Like we said earlier, kanang if you hand down information, a tradition from generation to generation, something gets lost, something gets added, and maybe in another region, in another place, diri sa Cebu lang gali, ang kada munisipyo lain-lain magig accent gali, di ba? Di ba? Lain-lain magig accent, magkaya kalayo klat blangbang, mabot na ka dito sa kuan, di ba? Sa probinsya, di ba? Ingabot diri sa Cebu kay gahi na kay tag Binisaya, di ba? Bisdak na kayo.
Yeah.
Lahi magaya nga atong accent nga gamay ra kayong distansya, labi na ka pagluto sa pagkaon, maybe kanang lugara diha, lahi ilang tradition, you know what I mean? So I think for them and for DTI to react a certain way, or maybe Jam kinsa magyo nagpasiugda sa mura og controversy, they should be perhaps be open siguro to the possibility
That they were wrong.
of being wrong, or or maybe the possibility that both are right, right? That's also a possibility, di ba?
It potentially, yeah, but
Yeah.
then again, I'm seriously I think I'm leaning more towards ang side nila Sherwin nga this whatever information is being that they felt was factually incorrect carries enough weight to be to need to be corrected. Kana so dira lang jud ko mo hinge on na whatever information was presented as factually incorrect needed to be corrected because it carried a certain amount of weight gani.
Unsa may title sa libro there? Would you know the name of the book? Unsa ba?
Mm. The book that was published.
Yeah, that was published by DTI.
Give me a moment.
Let's look it up. Beside me is Raf Chavez. Niya atong gisugutan karog buntaga is the beside me is Raf Chavez. Niya atong gisugutan karog buntaga is the food heritage controversy between that book written by a certain Jam Melchor, which was supposedly published by DTI.
Yeah, and the
right?
title of the book there is called Kayumanggi, A Kaleidoscope of Filipino Flavors and Cooking Traditions.
And si John Sherwin naka-notice siya og inaccuracies, right? Of
yeah.
the book. It could also be honest to goodness. They're not honest to goodness typographical or kanang mga mabaw lang kayong mga errors, right? These were real errors, I think, that Sherwin was
felt the need to correct.
It, right? And how are people reacting to it?
Well, to the legal case at the moment.
No, the public ba? How
To the situation in general.
Are most people for Sherwin, the guy who criticized the book, or are they against Sherwin? So may tanaw nimo dagan sa climate ron sa situation.
Well, based off of what I saw, it seemed like a lot of people were rallying behind Guy Sherwin because there's a lot of people who were just, pointing out the absurdity of the whole thing. 12 years for criticizing a book?
12 years in prison,
12 years in prison for criticizing 12 years potentially in prison for criticizing a book. Murag grabe ra kaayo. It's too much.
I wonder what's at stake here though, because kung si the author, if he feels being personally attacked, maybe that could be a case for libel, I guess. So I don't know exactly how Sherwin attacked also the author, di ba?
Yeah, the criticism rather.
Yeah.
Pero that is another question that needs to be addressed siguro, no? It's like, how was the criticism presented, and was the criticism presented in a way nga murag kana kay siya ad hominem or something along the lines of that.
Regional cuisine man goodbye, so possibly yun nga lain-lain ba murag lain-lain og story bitaw. You know what I mean? Like even like I said, even from household to household, maglain-lain magali ang kaning pagluto sa dinuguan. Di ba? Di ba?
Yeah.
Dili magina pareha gyud sila tanan, di ba? Kung adto ka silingan nimo, tanawa imong ilang dinuguan, lahi sa ako sa mua, di ba? Akong amahan bag-o lang ko ni kaog dinuguan gahapon lang porte yung lamia. Unya pag a few weeks before that katong ato ang TMC bites dito mi sa lobby sa Waterfront Cebu City Hotel and Casino sa Lahog, lain po nilang dinuguan. Lahi po lang ang consistency, ang mga ingredients, ang kahangon. So, maglain-lain yun na ang pagluto. So, kanang regional cuisine, dili lahi magay silingan gali. Usa na kang region, di ba? So, maybe Melchor and Melchor and Sherwin should talk to each other, and maybe they're both correct.
Well, that's the thing, right? It should have just been a private conversation.
Yeah.
At the very least between the author and Sherwin. And Sherwin did try to make it a private conversation, but there was no response.
Wait a minute. So didn't he publicly criticize the book?
Yeah, pero
how did we know about it? Right.
He initially started off by publicly reaching out to DTI and to the author, I believe.
Okay.
From what I read.
Okay.
He started off reaching out privately. But there was no response, and it was taking a certain amount of time had lapsed already, and because Sherwin felt that this was information that really needed to be corrected, he decided to go public with his criticism, which I think is very valid. Ang ko lang jud karon, you know, there was already a chance to resolve the issue privately, but instead they chose to keep things as is, and it's a public discussion.
You know what, guys, we have here our friends all the way from Manila, from Pagcor. They're here, and I want them to join in the discussion, right? Na si kinsa ni Maricel David, na si Maricel, Ma'am Maricel, maayong buntag ni Ma'am Maricel, together with JP Manuel and Ram Meneses. Good morning, guys. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagsalmot sa ato ang programa gitawag ng Top of the Morning here at Tops. They're here, of course, in the studios of 105.1 TMC. Tell me about how you feel about this whole mess, this whole controversy. How do you feel about this whole mess with kaning si DTI? They published a book about regional cuisine. Paghuman si this John Sherwin guy, mura ni siya founder sa local Foodpedia. It's like he's also a food heritage advocate. Mura siya ni-criticize niya ba nga murag naman ni inaccuracies ang imuhang libro niya. He was threatened to be put in jail for 12 years for cyber libel. How do you feel about that, sir? Kanang just the topic alone of food heritage. Unsa man imong, how do you feel about that particular topic, food heritage? Do you feel strongly about that or what?
Well, that's the first time that we've heard about that issue.
Okay.
But
it's actually a big right now. Everybody's talking about it. Yeah.
12 years in jail.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
too much nga, di
Yeah,
ba?
yeah.
But usually kasi you should not take criticisms na on a personal level. di ba? At times it helps you develop naman what you do. So
But si DTI published the book, right?
Yeah.
So it was already published, and they probably printed like a bazillion copies. Marami nang na-print na libro, right? So if somebody starts criticizing a book that's just recently published, number one, it'll be too late to correct the book, right? Tapos na eh.
tapos
And I guess number two, you're also attacking the credibility of the author, right? So it's not just the book; it's also the credibility of the person. So, I'm trying to understand, where it's coming from. So I guess if the criticism is unwarranted or is inaccurate, I think a lawsuit would probably be a good thing, a smart thing. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, sir?
I think actually he made the book, so I'm guessing that he's coming from his experience, his feelings or whatever. So I'm not sure if we can like cyber libel of the book, but he's just telling a story or something.
Yeah,
so we couldn't say that if a book could be a fiction or based on facts. So
The book's topic is also about regional cuisine, di ba?
Yes.
So, di ba, yung regional cuisine is really about the handing down of recipes from generation to generation. Hopefully, somebody in the family wrote it down in a recipe somewhere. But usually, it's word of mouth, di ba?
yes, correct.
And sometimes there are different versions of the same thing, right? Like I was making an example earlier, yung dinuguan, right?
Yes,
yung dinuguan, yung dinuguan in my house is different from dinuguan in my neighbor's
Correct,
house,
yes.
right? So because I've literally eaten, because we live in a small compound with just cousins, right? So I've literally eaten their dinuguan, and it's different from mine.
Yes.
So you know what I mean?
Yes, it's
So-
the same like from adobo.
Yeah.
So there's different types of adobo.
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
From Manila, from Visayas,
Correct. Yeah.
and from
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Actually, I can comment a bit on some of the claims that were being made by Sherwin.
Okay.
It took more than this is according to an article that was already written about this. I think he already gave an interview somewhere. This is from Bulatlat. It took more than 6 months for someone to notice these errors. There were cultural inaccuracies, scientific inaccuracies, even errors in the origins of the names of dishes. One obvious error he noticed was about Sardinella tawilis, freshwater sardine, endemic to Taal Lake. In the book, it is listed as commonly found in freshwater lakes and rivers in the Philippines, he told Bulatlat. The International Union for Conservation of Nature added tawilis to its red list of threatened species in 2018, classifying the economically important fish as endangered, similar to similar.
So he's claiming that the certain kind of species of fish is only found in a certain area.
Yeah, it's only found in Taal Lake.
But what is John Felix asserting, that it's also found in other areas?
No, see, John Felix is the one that's saying that it's only endemic to Taal Lake. Meanwhile, the book lists it as commonly found in freshwater lakes and rivers all throughout the Philippines.
So could both of them be correct, or no? You can't, right? I mean,
yeah, no. If it's a claim like this, this was also something that, like I said earlier,
but you know,
naay
like,
mga
yeah,
kuan,
naay mga
mga
scientific
other researchers who backed up his claims.
Okay, so a certain species of fish to be found in a certain area alone, and or is found widely, could easily be verified. But we can
Yeah, this is
they can all check, right?
Yeah, this is verifiable information.
Verifiable. So let's see what the verifiers will say. Is there another particular topic that was criticized because it was inaccurate or something? Sirs, do you have like a favorite? Si JP, si Rammer, even si Maricel. Do you have like a favorite a food story, like that was handed down from a personal food story, maybe like a recipe that was handed down from generation to generation in your family, and something like that, like a food heritage story that you'd like to share to us? Do you have it? Do you have any? Like, do you have like a favorite dish, and do you remember who started it in the family and all that stuff? Does anybody have that? Because everybody has that, I think, somehow, right?
Yeah, well, in my family, the traditional nilaga.
Nilaga. Okay.
We have our own way, our own recipe that I think is quite unique compared to the traditional ones. No? So I grew up having this idea. When you say nilagang baboy, it's a different texture kasi we use kalabasa as soup. So only lately that I discovered na ang traditional pala na style ng nilaga is yung clear lang talaga siya. So yun.
So you got that recipe from a particular member of the family?
I grew up at our family's house. They're serving that type of nilaga.
But it's different from other households.
Yes. Sa mga regular restaurants.
Yeah.
So I grew up thinking na
it's clear soup.
Sila yung
Tama.
naggawa ng iba. Yeah. So lately ko lang nalaman na yung sa amin pala yung medyo weird compared dun sa iba, di ba?
How about you, sir? Do you have anything similar to that? Like a food heritage story?
Not really something like that. For example, at our house, we really love the bistek Tagalog. So,
Bistek Tagalog?
Yeah,
bistek
Tagalog.
Bistek, okay.
But in our house, it's like we like to tweak it up. So we place different kinds of, we place broccoli, mushrooms, and different kinds. And
okay.
we like to, the bistek Tagalog really is like onions and beef only. So at our house, it's like, it's tweaked up with everything that we would like. So it's just a simple heritage that we have.
Ladies and gentlemen, in case you're wondering who you're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. Right beside me is Ralph Chavez. And we have here our friends from Pagcor. We have Maricel David, or David, depends where you're from and how you pronounce words. We have JP Manuel and Ram Meneses. Atong gisgutan karong buntaga is actually the food heritage controversy, wherein a certain Jam Melcher, an author, wrote a book which was published by DTI, was criticized by a food heritage advocate, Sherwin Felix, right? I saw, I heard you mention 6 months. So medyo this has been published a long time ago, Raf? Dili ni siya bag-o nga gi-publish?
Yeah, at the very least, the errors were noticed 6 months after publication.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure when exactly, but it seems like it was published sometime maybe last year, and it took a while for anybody to raise concerns regarding the factual errors in the book. Besides what I mentioned earlier, another thing that was brought up by Sherwin was in the section about the dish known as KBL,
What does-
Kadios Baboy Langka.
Okay.
The book mistakenly lists batuan, Garcina binucao as a legume, suggesting that it belongs to the same family as mung beans, string beans, and pigeon peas. Felix said this was incorrect, as kadios is a legume, but batuan is not. That's an incorrect classification. The author's botanical information is wrong because batuan is a berry or a fruit that comes from a native tree.
So, murag technical de kay ang mga mistakes.
Yeah, very, very.
Very scientific. So I guess you cannot anymore argue against that particular correction, di ba? Kay kung nasayop ka-classify yun, di
Yeah,
ba?
lagi.
Anyway, JP and Ram and Marcel, what part of Luzon are you guys from, if you don't mind?
Well,
Ikaw, sir.
Ako, I grew up in Manila.
Manila.
Tondo, Manila.
What do you think is the pride and glory of of Tondo when it comes to pagkain? What do you think if I go to Binondo or do you say Binondo or Tondo? Tondo.
Binondo.
Binondo.
Binondo is different. I'm from Tondo, Manila.
If I go to Tondo, what should I eat first? Ano yung first meal ko po?
Well, there's no certain kind of dish that really originated from Tondo. But right now, compared to the usual impressions that people have about Tondo, it's like there are lots of food parks in Tondo right now.
Food parks,
Yeah,
okay.
like for example, I don't know if you heard about Ugbo.
Ugbo, no.
So-
What is an ugbo?
Ugbo is a stretch of street that it's filled with street foods
Okay.
coming from different cultures. So
wow.
so
Okay.
sometimes yung sinaserve nila is different dishes from different regions, like yung iba Kapampangan na dishes. So everything that you might possible think of or crave for that moment is right there in the
Wow.
long stretch of
Okay.
street.
Okay.
So but
Do you have a favorite out of all of the regional dishes that you have tried in Ugbo? Ano ba yun? Ugbo?
yeah, Ugbo is the name of the street.
So do you have a favorite ba?
I don't have a certain favorite, but way back before they multiplied the number of food stalls there, they're really known for their tumbong soup.
Tumbong soup.
Yeah.
What is that? It
That's
sounds very sour. Is that a sour soup?
That's the intestine part of the
Oh.
pork.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Okay.
So that's
Tumbong, huh?
Yeah, tumbong.
Is it like clear soup or is it like
It's clear soup, and then it's made of the intestines of the pork.
oh wow, that sounds
So
very
way
interesting.
back, decades ago, that's the only food that you can find there.
In-
Tapos in Ugbo.
Ugbo.
And then
Okay.
later on, ngayon, dami
How
na.
about you, sir? Do you have like what part of Luzon do you hail from?
I grew up in Quezon City.
Quezon City.
Yeah, but
okay.
actually, we don't have a specific food in Quezon City.
Okay.
But we have food places like we have there in Maginhawa. It's in Teachers Village near UP.
Mm.
And actually, we don't have a really distinct foods. It's like an explosion of different foods.
Oh,
So
okay.
I really couldn't relate with Ram with a specific food there.
But do you have like a favorite regional dish?
Regional dish.
You mentioned bistik Tagalog, right?
Yeah.
Would that be one of your favorites? Or?
Actually, yes.
Yeah? Okay.
When I growing up, that is really one of our go-to dishes that at our family household would make. So I think that would be.
You guys came all the way from flew in all the way from Manila, right?
Yes.
Every time you touch down Cebu, like, is there a specific dish that you guys, if given the chance and the opportunity, would want to eat that particular dish first?
For example, we all know that Cebu is really known for the lechon. So
Mm.
it's really the lechon that we go here for
Lechon.
in Cebu.
It-
Yes.
do you have like a favorite lechon in Cebu? Because there are so many different
Yeah.
kinds of lechons, right?
We've been to personally,
Mm.
I would like the one in Lechon House.
House of
I'm
Lechon.
sorry.
House
House
of
of
Lechon.
Lechon.
Okay.
It's really good.
Oh wow. Okay. How about you, sir? Do you have a specific dish that you look forward to eating when you come to Cebu?
Yeah. Actually, I stayed here for almost a year.
Oh wow.
15
Okay.
years ago. I was
Oh.
assigned here 2011 to 2012.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So every time I visit Cebu, I make sure that I try lechon, of course.
And any particular lechon?
Before, we only have Zubuchon here. Wala
Mm.
pa yung Rico's Lechon in
okay.
the House of Lechon. But
Okay.
right now, mas preferred ko na yung House of Lechon.
Oh wow. So how about Marcel? Where did Marcel go? Anyway, let's just not bother her. Maybe she's doing something important. Of course, you guys are doing something important. You're actually flew in all the way here to Cebu, not just to eat lechon, right?
Yeah.
And chorizo.
and-
Cebu de chorizo.
Chorizo de Cebu. You're actually here for a photo contest.
Yeah.
Tell me about this whole photo contest thing. You have been doing this one since 2014, right?
Yes.
Why is PAGCOR always doing this photo contest? What is it with photo competitions?
Actually, this is a way to show to the Philippines that the different places we would like to feature, because PAGCOR is like an advocate of tourism. So in a way, we would like to show the world, the country, all the different places, all the different locations that's still undiscovered. But right now, our theme is different because we've had different themes. This year we're having the theme of kids at play, so we're like steering it up. So we had a lot of themes already, and this is the first time that we centered on kids right now.
So this is a nationwide competition. This is not just a competition for Cebuano photographers, right?
Yes, it is for the whole country.
And the levels of skill, because there are like professional photographers and amateur photographers like me and Ralph here. We actually take an inordinate amount of photos. We just never really skilled up, right, Ralph?
Yeah, yeah.
We still make the mistake of making the taking a photograph against the light and all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
what are the levels of skills
Yeah.
that are allowed to join this competition?
Mm-hmm.
So every year, every photo contest, this is open to all Filipinos naman.
Oh,
as
okay.
long as
Okay.
you're a Filipino citizen,
Mhm.
whether you're just a hobbyist or an amateur or professional, you can join. And actually, we have 3 categories that are really suitable, from hobbyists to amateurs to professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Our 3 main categories is the conventional. We also have the mobile and the drone category.
Oh.
So most professional photographers join the conventional category, since we're using SLR cameras, point and shoot, that kind of cameras being used by professionals in that category. Now, for the beginners, for the hobbyists and the amateurs, they usually focus on the mobile category, since these are photos taken using your mobile devices, such as your
Yeah.
phones, your action cams, your 360 cams, and your tablets. And of course, the last one is the drone.
The hobby.
So they are aerial shots, usually used by tourists. So those are photos using drone-mounted cameras.
Mm-hmm.
But you're making a distinction between gadgets, between photography machines, right? Yung drone, yung mobile, and regular DSLR, right?
Yes.
So how about the skill set? For example, if it's drone, what if I'm a renowned drone videographer, for example? Is that okay? Can I still join?
Yes, it's open to all Filipinos naman, whether it's you're a professional or hobbyist.
Very interesting. And the prizes at stake. I hear that PAGCOR gives out a lot of great big prizes for for the winners of these competitions?
For this photography contest, this is one of the most prestigious in the country. So for the conventional category, we have 16 finalists. Actually, we have 16 finalists for each category. And out of those 16 finalists, we will be picking 8 grand winners. For the conventional category, each of the 8 grand winners will be receiving 100,000 pesos each. And for the mobile and drone, each of the 8 grand winners will be receiving 50,000 pesos each. Well, for the rest of the finalists, of course, they will be receiving as well consolation prizes.
How do I join? Because we're definitely joining the mobile category, right, Ralph?
Potentially.
Yes.
So you can just visit our website. You just have to fill up the form there and submit the entry.
So you just need to go to www.pagcor.ph/photocon 2026. And there's like a registration page there. It's a simple registration. And you just register and upload your photos.
Okay. Can you repeat the website again, sir?
Okay. It's www.pagcor.ph/photocon 2026.
And when you said that the registration process, you mentioned earlier that all you need really is to be a Filipino citizen. So is there going to be, what type of requirements are going to be there?
There's
registration?
An age limit, actually.
Okay.
So you have to be at least 16 years old as
Oh,
of
man.
January 1 of this year.
I'm too young.
Yeah, I know.
Before requirement is 18 years.
Yes.
Ah,
and then we just
really?
we lowered it
We
down.
lowered it down to 16 years old.
Okay, that's nice. And age limit is again 16 to
16 years old
And then
okay. Above. Okay.
as
And-
of January 1 of this year, you have to be 16.
And the photographs have to be newly taken, or can I just look through my files?
So we're accepting photos taken between September 23 of last year and until June 30 of this year.
Okay.
You know, I'm very bad at taking pictures, Ralph, like I said, right? But when I use AI
Oh no.
and edit it digitally,
Yeah.
you know, I become like a world-class photographer.
Yeah, that's right.
What are your thoughts? Not just your thoughts, but what are the rules against using technology
To enhance.
to enhance?
yeah, actually,
photographs.
those are one of the not allowed to enter the contest. So it needs to be an originally photo taken by the participant, and the editing would be just really minor editing. As long as we need to preserve the actual photo that you took, so it would be you would submit an original as original as it can get. So AI manipulation is definitely not allowed. We're sorry.
I'll
Is
make.
there
Go ahead. Continue.
is there any way for Pagcor to guarantee the other contestants that you'll be able to detect AI con?
Actually,
edits?
we have a creative team who handles that. So they're experts on these kinds of technicalities. So they're able to determine which one is AI and which one is an original photo.
Let me make your lives more difficult, guys.
Oh no.
Okay. What if the photograph has no AI or any technology enhancements, but is taken by AI?
That's a good question.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, answer. No, actually, what would be because the rules said that you need to be a Filipino citizen, so
Oh.
that AI is no longer Filipino.
How do you know that? What if it applied for citizenship, right? So you have a this is actually the first time that the whole world is knowing about this, because they have a press con pa, which is happening this afternoon, right?
Yes.
So you will cascade it down to the rest of the world this afternoon, and this is going to be huge, right? Again, the most prestigious photography contest in the country. I'm curious, did you ever have like a food? Because you've been doing this for more than a decade. Was there ever a food themed photo contest? Maybe next year you'll do like a food themed contest, right? Right?
Possibly we
Yeah.
can add that to one of our themes,
Yeah.
because we would like to feature way back, I think we already had one. It featured like local cuisines of of the Philippines.
Yeah,
So
your theme this year is actually very exciting. Children, right?
Yes.
Yeah, can you elaborate on the theme for this year? Because I think Manggod, this is my personal point of view. I think if you see children playing in the streets, that's a beautiful thing. That means that the country feels safe and safe for children. And I remember going to Carbon Market. This was a few months ago to buy flowers, right, or something like that. And then I saw kids playing around on top of my pickup, right? They were jumping up and down. I was, my initial emotion was I was supposed to be angry, right? To stop that. And then I realized, man, kids are playing. That's a good thing, right? They're not on their phones. They're safe.
Yes.
They feel safe outdoors playing in my pickup. So yeah. So what are the rules regarding the specific theme?
Yeah, that's a good question. So since the subjects for this year's theme is it involves kids, minors. So per entry, by the way, I forgot to mention, per participant, we are allowed to submit a maximum of 3 entries.
Okay.
So you can submit 3 entries in conventional or 1 entry per category or in any random order. So per entry that you submit, you are required, most especially if the face of the subject is exposed, we have to submit also a notarized parental consent.
Yeah.
And you
Notarized parental consent.
can, yeah.
Okay.
And that form is you can easily download it in our website as well.
Okay.
So I usually get these questions or reactions lately. Because previously, like last year, we had our
infrastructure.
diba? So this year, it's a little hassle compared to the previous years. Kasi
Yeah.
kailangan pa ng parental consent, notarized pa. Well, every year kasi, we have different themes, pero basically, you have the same experience eh. You just take the photo, submit ka lang, then that's it. For this year, kaya siya special is because it gives you an experience that goes beyond just taking photos. So it gives you a little peek to that professional experience. Some of the things that are being done by the professionals like that.
True.
Kasi later on, if ever you're taking photos like that, you'll be experiencing that issues eh. Like let's say, take ka lang ng picture ng view. If ever man one time is may gustong bumili doon and magkakaroon ng photo bomber or some people involved that. So magkakaroon din kayo ng mga ganong experiences. And this contest gives the participants that experience para maging familiar na rin sila sa mga ganyan. Just in case na later on yung hobbyists mag-move dun sa professional na.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that actually was something that I wanted to ask about the competition, because this is something it was discussed in our photography class as well. Now, when it comes to or was it our journalism class? I forget which one specifically. When it comes to photos with minors, even on news publications, they need if it's like specifically for a photo for like a headline stuff like that, they need to get parental consent. Even in times of like distress, like natural calamities and all that, there's still a like certain hurdles, legal hurdles that are necessary for these things. And having that as a theme for a competition, it's going to make it rather difficult, no? And what's the like rationale as well behind the theme? Like, why specifically children at play?
because lately, though we don't have nothing against kids being techie nowadays, but
Yeah.
of course, everything is better when it's balanced. Sometimes the younger generation forgets to be more engaged in physical activity. Diba? And that's important din in their growth. It builds character din, diba? And resilience. So, we would like to remind people din naman na to encourage kids to engage to physical activity. Huwag
Yeah.
puros tablets lang or
Yeah.
computer games, diba?
So hindi
Yeah,
yung kasama yung a child playing Dota?
Yeah.
Huh?
No, we're not including
or,
that.
or video games, right?
So
because
sad.
that's still
That's
a child at
actually
play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
specifically, we're really looking for photos of authentic scenes of Filipino kids that are engaged to active play.
Active play.
Active play.
Running outside, playing in the rain, playing traditional street games like Pico.
Mhm.
How about
Tumbang Preso.
virtual boxing?
How about that?
Maybe some other year na.
Maybe
But for this year, that's the main focus.
Mhm.
Active play muna tayo.
active play minus any kind of like digital.
Digital or
Ah.
computer
Yes,
games.
No
Yeah.
high technology involved,
No.
right?
Yung talagang beer na.
Yes.
Yeah,
Old
back to-
school games.
Yeah,
Yes,
back
old
to
school.
analog, back
We
to
go back to
analog.
the roots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you're wondering what you're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. Right beside me is
Raf Chavez.
food heritage controversy. That's our main issue, main topic for today. And of course, we have here our guests from Pagcor. They're actually here, and thank you so much for joining our conversation. I'm glad you talked about the what do you call this? The bistik Tagalog, right? Because that's actually a very contentious food. What does even constitute bistik, right? Because we have our own beefsteak here also in Cebu. Thank you for joining us in our conversation, and of course, telling us about the Pagcor Photo Contest 2026. Can we already send entries? And how do you send entries? Do you have to send a physical photograph? Is it just a digital copy of the photograph? And once they become what do you call qualifiers or whatnot, do they have to print it? How does it work? What are the mechanics regarding the form in which they send the entry? Go ahead, sir.
So everything's now digital. So we're already used to digital, and so that it would be more available to everyone anywhere in the Philippines. So they just need to go to our website. That is www.pagcor.ph/photocon 2026. So there's like a digital registration there, and after completing the registration, they just need to upload their photo, and that's it. They're already part of the contest. So it's so simple.
Mm-mm.
Wow. Anything else you'd like to add, guys? JP, Manuel, Ram, Meneses, and of course, Maricel, David,
So I just like
and
to
Earl is here also.
Mm.
And who else is here, Earl? Who did we forget to mention?
Mike.
Oh, Mike.
And
So Mike is here from our
Michael
creatives team.
Tolentino.
Yes.
I like.
Hi.
So anything else you'd like to add? Go ahead.
We'd like to thank you for having us here.
Oh,
We
it is
really
our
appreciate
pleasure, man.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing too.
Yes, and we would like to invite all the people in Cebu, in the entire region of Visayas, because last year alone we had 8 grand winners only from Cebu.
Wow.
So we were like really calling all Cebuanos, all the people in Visayas
Photography is big in
to
Cebu.
join in now, and it's only up to June 30. So they have
Of-
all the time.
of
they
this
have-
year.
Of this year.
Oh
June.
wow. Okay.
So they still have time to submit and register to the Pagcor Photography Contest.
So how many winners all in all?
So all in all, there are 24 grand winners.
Whoa.
In
And-
total of 48 finalists.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much, guys. You know what, Raf? I'd like to continue the conversation about the food heritage controversy. What we'll do, we'll just play the jingle and come back to it. Can we do that technically? No.
I think it might be. We're gonna have to cut the
interview short?
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut the live. I think. It might. Yeah, we might have to cut the live, if ever.
Okay. So, you guys, thank you so much for watching and listening to us. And I hope you will continue the food heritage conversation even after the show. You know, you can just comment your thoughts about it, or because we're definitely gonna respond to them, right? Whatever violent reactions they have or otherwise, at least just linguistically violent.
Yeah.
I'm sure Facebook can do something about if it goes over the edge, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of reactions to what we were saying earlier, nadinig comment nga si Yoshia Montifalcon, yan siya nga daming alam.
Sinong daming alam?
I think he was referring to us when we were talking about the controversy earlier.
Yeah, because we live in the age of information. The problem is
Mhm.
if the information is valid, if it's not, is it true? Is it
Mhm.
verified, and all of that
Yeah.
stuff, right? That's why we talk about it so that we can be corrected or validated, right?
Yeah,
That's the only two
exactly.
ways that it can go. So that's why we want you guys to join our conversation in Top of the Morning here at 105.1 TMC. I think TMC is all about conversations, right?
It is.
And a conversation is not just between me and Ralph and our guests. It's also about you guys who are listening to us. TMC not only stands for the most, not only stands for Tops Media Center. It also means the most Cebu conversation. So daghang salamat for joining us here at 105.1